This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. An ongoing dispute over holiday pay has forced junior doctors to pull their trump card. They voted to strike. Commenting on the issue before heading to Cabinet this morning, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands said the Public Hospitals Authority has made an offer. As it stands, junior doctors make $48,000 a year. A total compensation would put their salary at about $80,000 plus 15% gratuity at the end of 3 years.
To compensate for all of the public holidays worked over the last 5 years or 6 years. And the offer, I believe, is a rather generous offer. But I think what we're watching is a transition of professionalism. And whether it makes us better or worse, only time will tell.
Now, talk of another strike follows a recent strike poll taken by nurses that saw hundreds of them agree to take such action. That strike vote has since been certified, leaving that group to determine when to actually withdraw their services.
As we speak about the withdrawal of healthcare services by any group of professionals, the public is looking on, and the public is asking the question, what does this mean? And I think it's a valid question.
This past September saw junior doctors demonstrate in front of the critical care block of the Princess Margaret Hospital. Talks said to be going extremely well between Bahamian and Dominican officials on poaching, a long-standing and contentious issue. This particularly in the wake of another 7 Dominican fishermen being picked up, bringing the total to 14 in recent days. Here's Foreign Affairs Minister Darren Henfield.
Came from the Dominican Republic, led by the Minister Espinosa, who was responsible for external relations to a certain extent. She brought with her members from the Fisheries Association, the Dominican Republic, and made some commitments that the Dominican government would do more to help alleviate this problem of incursions into our waters to fish illegally. Some of these indications seem to suggest that they will put indicators on Dominican vessels, fishing vessels that leave, that these vessels will have to report to the Dominican Republic's government before they leave, and that they would continue to communicate to the people that fishing in Bahamas is illegal, and you could end up in prison for a very long time. The next step for us now is to have our technical people sit in the room and hammer out memorandums of understanding.
Now, according to the minister, while the previous administration hammered out an agreement some 5 years ago, that agreement was never finalized. Still, with quite a few Dominicans at the Department of Corrections, he's pretty confident the Dominican government is willing to work and cooperate with the Bahamian government.
We indicated to them that Dominican fishermen are becoming more and more aggressive toward Bahamian law enforcement and even Bahamian fishermen in the past. We also commended our Royal Bahamas Defense Force for the level of discretion that they used in not using far more superior firepower to open up on a Dominican fishing vessel fleeing into Cuban territory. I'm confident that with our Defense Force working with the Dominican law enforcement, with the Fisheries Association and the Dominican Republic doing what they promised to do, with us working with the Dominican government as well as the Cuban government, we're going to make real inroads into this matter of illegal poaching.
The first group of 7 Dominican fishermen has since been charged with illegal foreign fishing within the exclusive fishery zone, possession of grouper during the closed season, possession of prohibited apparatus, namely an air compressor tank and spear guns. The group pleaded guilty, subsequently convicted and fined $413,000 each, or time spent in jail. A contract signing in the works for Wi-Fi and internet capabilities at government schools throughout the country. That from Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd, who says an education and management information system programs also in the works.
We hope that both a local and an international vendor would be able to assist us with that. So we are moving incrementally. We are taking about 4 or 5 schools at a time. We have already begun site visits to those particular schools, and over the next year and a half, we'll roll out the 172 school buildings and campuses, plus the 50 or so satellite.
The ministry this past September signed a contract with BTC to provide fiber optic cable in 172 schools and some 50 satellite campuses. Our final stories are up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.